what you're looking for is standing right here.
Standing right here. Standing right here. Yeah.
What's up, folks? Welcome to Open Game. We got Key Turner in the house as our special guest.
What up?
Yay!
Doing Key?
Let's go.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Like I was saying earlier, I got some sleep. So yeah.
Cheers
Feeling energized. Cheers.
Oh, she
Cheers.
can be
Sleep, baby.
Energized. I'm ready to tackle the day, conquer the day.
Yes,
How's
yes.
everybody feeling? How y'all feeling?
We're good.
Great,
Good.
wonderful.
Thanks for asking. So we wanna talk to you about what you've been up to as a music artist, as a community-minded person. You consider yourself community-minded out there?
I do consider myself community-minded, especially when it comes to the arts. I work with the studio out here called Out Your League Studios, and they have a foundation called Save the Music, Save a Life. And so I involve myself with the youth if they want to learn how the studio works, if they want to learn how to do a radio show, stuff like that, they'll sit in. So yeah, community minded as far as that, because I feel like arts keeps a lot of kids out of trouble. Keeps them occupied. I know for me, I wasn't the best in school, and
Me either.
because I was one of those people. As I got older, I began to realize that I was one of those people that if I would have went to a magnet school, I would have been okay, but because of how my home was structured, growing up in a military family, pops is on deployment for 6 months out of the year. Mom is holding all of us down. The attention isn't like, okay, you see, they know I'm into the arts, but they don't necessarily have the knowledge to be like, okay, well, Keisha probably needs to be in magnet, so I would act out because I wasn't, but I know now that if I probably would have did a lot better in school, because that's where my mind was. I literally would skip school just so I could write,
How about that?
Running around with my friend. Yeah, running around with my friends doing music. Like literally, this is a known fact. I used to skip school, like say, and this is true. I put this in one of my songs recently. Wu-Tang came to the clubhouse off of Newtown Road in Virginia Beach on the Sunday night. I wanted to go to that show so bad that I skipped school Monday. That Monday was like the last day. They were like, yo, if you miss one more day of school, you're out of here.
Wow.
Like, that's how bad I just wanted to be just in the, just music.
In that environment.
I wanted to be in that environment. And of course, they didn't get me in the clubs because I'm like the youngest one. I always got into the clubs because everybody I hung with was way older than me. Older. Because, in music, that's just how it is. You're around a lot of older people, all of that. Say, come on, Keisha, we going to the club. Oh, we on the list. One of my homegirls, Diane, this is all facts. Her pops used to do security overseas and met Raekwon. Raekwon gets to the States, keeps in touch with him, tells him, oh, your daughter's a fan of Wu-Tang. I'm putting y'all on the list. So it'd be like little stuff like that. Okay. And we just out there. Didn't really meet Raekwon, but we was on the list though. We got in that hole. We was in there like
we in the building.
Underage. I ain't even 18. I'm just out there like missed school the next day. Sure did. So yeah, so for me, very community minded, because I know that if I had that, if that was available for me, or if I would have been involved in that, I probably would have, panned out a lot better as far as school is concerned. So I have involved myself with youth. We've dealt with even I'm trying to be politically correct here. Children who are challenged mentally. We've had like groups of those kids come into our studios, Out Your League Studios. We did like whole day camps where we're just showing them how to get on the radio, studio, all of that. and just seeing the eyes light up. And so they're so hyped, like creating and pushing buttons and touching buttons. It's a beautiful thing. That's like one of the most fun things I've ever done,
Yes.
showing the youth the arts. Yeah, it's very dope. So yeah.
So I want to ask a really quick question, Key. I heard you just mention Virginia Beach. How long were you there?
I grew up there. That's what I know. I'm 2 up, 2 down forever. Like I'm a military brat. And I was saying this earlier, Jacksonville, Florida. That's where I was born. Military.
Okay.
If you're a military kid in America, chances are you probably ended up in Florida somewhere. Florida,
right.
Norfolk. So from Florida, and then at a very, very, very young age, we relocated to Virginia Beach, and that's where I grew up. That's where I was exposed to the music on a wider level, everything. So that's all I know. And I moved to Georgia in 2007. So
okay.
They say I'm officially now a peach, and I don't mind. I don't mind being a peach now. But yeah, I've been here since 2007. But VA, that's home forever. It kind of still feels like because I just know so many people there. Like I said, that's where I grew up. So it's like home is just always home. Like,
yeah.
I feel like I'm halfway there. Like I feel like I just been here on a very long journey just to help the music out. But
right.
I do have some family out here now though. So
yeah. That's what's up. Well, I actually just got the opportunity to go to Virginia for the first time. And we flew into Norfolk, and we were there for probably like 5 days. What? And when I tell you, all you see is trees everywhere. Everything is hidden behind the trees. Yes. They're like, oh, it's a whole shopping mall behind the trees. You're like, wow. Like, you'll never think
it is.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever been to Georgia, but Georgia's worse.
Never. I've been through the airport in Georgia only.
Atlanta.
I felt like that was like Disneyland. I was like, the airport is like a whole.
It's ridiculous.
Massive. Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. It's just for no reason. Like why?
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely very, very green. And Georgia is worse. I remember now y'all are in Cali.
Yes.
I remember going to Cali for the first time and coming home. I said, hey, I feel like I'm in a eco bubble or something. Cause the trees, I'm like, just from being, I was in Cali for like 4 days. So everything is kind of, you can see across. There's no trees like how it is in Virginia or Georgia. So when I got home, I'm just looking around like, hey man, it's really lush out here. Like we live in a very lush area. It's very tropical feeling because of all the trees. It is a whole nother vibe. It's just different.
They develop a lot out here in the West Coast, so they cut everything down. But we got our little areas like that, but they're little.
Right. Yeah. And you have to travel to them, especially the way that it was in Virginia compared to here. I mean, I feel like when I went to Seattle also, it was like that. It was really lush and green. Yeah, and green. And I really value that because I'm a nature brat. So at the end of the day, I was like, wow, this is a different perspective. We tried to do the nightlife there, and with COVID and just all of the new protocols, baby, they told me I couldn't bring nothing in bigger than my phone. I was like, I can't have my clutch to hold my phone, my keys, my wallet. No, they were like, nah, we was teed, so we left.
Yeah, Virginia in the clubs, especially now, it's different from when we were coming up out there. The VA has become, and I keep hearing it's become really crazy. They got the bright lights down at the beach, where they shine the lights on you. If they suspect anything's going down, it's like, bam, kind of like,
wow.
Yeah, like crazy. I went home last year for one of my homegirls' baby shower, and I stayed on the beach. I went because living in Georgia, where I am in Georgia, we don't have the water. And I grew up around the water all my life. So I'm like, when I come home, I'm staying at the beach. Go to the beach. And the vibe is different there. You know, when I was down there, they had, I think it was like 5 people got shot over the weekend down at the beach. And I'm like, okay, I'm not leaving my room today, you know.
Right.
You know, when I was out there, we would cipher on the block, 17th Street, 19th Street. We just walk up and down rhyming all night until the cops come and break us up. You know, it would be groups, droves of people just rhyming on the block. That's what we did. That's how my skills were sharpened. Everybody go to the beach and rap. Go down to the strip. We call it the strip. You know, the ocean front. Everybody's out there rhyming. You name it. And can't do that no more. Cops don't like that. You know, before the cops would be like, okay, if you're gonna rhyme, just kind of go down that way, away from the tourism. You know, the tourists. We don't want people to know we got rappers. You know, on the block. But,
shaking my head.
Yeah, like
trying to hide the talent.
Can't do that no more though. Can't do that no more.
That sounds interesting. Tell us a little bit about that culture. When you had that chance to experience that, what was that like? And you know, did we get some famous battles coming out of there? Is there some names that you can throw out that people might know about that's ended up doing some albums type stuff?
From Virginia?
Yeah, you know, from all of that scene that you're talking about with the battles on the block.
Well, when I was battling on the block, okay, first of all, Virginia is known for lots of talent, you know, Pharrell, Missy, Timberland. Fun fact, I lived in the neighborhood with Timberland. I lived in an area called Rosemont in Virginia Beach off of Lynn Haven Parkway. And I stayed on this side of Rosemont. Tim stayed on the other side. Me and his brother G went to school with each other. You know, it was just because, you know, that part of VA is small. Everybody knows everybody. Missy, she lived across the water in Portsmouth. I had friends that knew her, was, you know, doing stuff with her coming up. They were older than me. I was just like, you know, just taking in everything, hearing about all of these different stories with the Pharrells. And Pharrell used to have a group called Surrounded by Idiots that we would hear about. You know, they love Tribe. They were on a whole Tribe vibe, you know what I'm saying? Skull caps, pinstripe shirts, and, you know, just it's crazy. Like, all anybody ever did growing up was music. So, you know, if you weren't doing music, then you were getting into trouble, really. Like my brother, you know, he was either rapping or he was at Virginia Beach Correctional Facility. It's just what it was, you know, like, so we all would rhyme down at the block. I don't recall ever seeing Pharrell and them down there. Clips, maybe once or twice I've seen them down at the block. In the ciphers, not really. But what I know is if you did earn your stripes in that cipher, you got a lot of respect, because there used to be some heavy spitters out there, like crazy. My brother, there was this club called The Cave where we used to go and battle for $100 every Friday. And I remember going in there like, yo, I gotta win this $100 because I need a new pair of sneakers. You know what I'm saying? Period. That was my vibe. You know, I had just moved out. Yeah, I just moved out of my mom's. You know, we were going through our season of, you know, me finding myself and one guy, I gotta get out there. I'm gonna do my music, but I'm finding myself. So I left and I had to work, take care of myself, you know. And I used to go and battle. Just I need this $100 because my New Balances is peeling right now. Like that
for my sneakers.
I was battling for my sneakers.
Battling for my sneakers.
Straight up. And we used to kill it. I was in a group called Gypsies. And sometimes I would show up early and they would be running behind for whatever reason. And it was time to get on the mic and I'd have to go at it by myself because won't nobody there yet. And I used to just have to go up there and kill it by myself and win it. And I would still divvy out the money amongst the crew because at that time we were traveling up north to do shows and we would need gas money. Like literally we had to battle for the sneakers, gas money, food, whatever. Like that's how it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
You continued that when you went to Atlanta?
Well, not really. By the time I got to Atlanta, I was married at the time and kind of got down here and was more so just trying to do shows, not necessarily competitions, but there was one competition that I did enter, and that was when Jagged Edge was trying to do a reality show. and that didn't pan out. But I remember one of the judges was Busy B. Busy B was one of the judges. And when I rhymed, you know, I remember him saying, yo, that's real hip hop. That's hip hop right there. That's what we missing. We need it. You know, you need to come back. And then it kind of got on some old stuff where you gotta sell these tickets and do this and then. And I was just like,
oh yeah, pay to play.
I don't know anyone out here to be selling a lot of these tickets. You know, I don't know anybody. So I just kind of faded to the back on that part. Right. But one person that did buy tickets from me that I met, and that's an actor that a lot of people may know from The Wire. I forget what character he played on The Wire, but his name is Ro Brooks. He owned a record store out here. Mm-hmm. And again, I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anybody except for my husband's family. We're riding around. We go to Stonecrest Mall area. There's a record store. So I'm like, ooh, record store. We're going to go in there and talk to whoever, see if they want to get some tickets for this Jagged Edge thing. And the guy happened to be Ro Brooks, who acted in The Wire. He was in a few videos. And I recognized him because he has that face you've seen on TV like plenty of times, but he's just not, he's known, but he's not like that. Oh, I'm not, you know, but he's that, I know you from somewhere type of thing. And he's like, yeah, I'm from B-More. I played in The Wire. Da, 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 da. And he's like, what you got? And he supported. He bought like 4 tickets, and I think they were $25 a pop. And he reached in the register and was like, yo, I'll just get these away. Because he was like, well, you made it to this point. Well, let me hear you rhyme. And if you good, then I'm going to buy these tickets off of you. And I rhymed, and he was like, he reached in the register. I'll get these tickets. So shouts out to Ro Brooks, man. If he sees this, shouts out to Ro Brooks. Like that dude is always supported. And then, ever since then, we started following each other on Facebook, all that, you name it. He's always supported. So shouts out to him. But yeah, got to Atlanta, and like I said, didn't really know anyone, just was trying to do as many shows as I could. And from that point, it led to another show, led to me meeting these people, that people, and you know, here we are. So the networking is really good.
So prior to you getting to Atlanta, it wasn't really as much of a business thing. You weren't doing like what you're doing currently. Did you realize you were going in that direction or wanted to? To
move to Georgia?
You know, kind of getting, you know, you have put out your first record, and we'll call it vinyl for everybody out there. I don't know if you put it on CD. Was it available for CD as well?
It was just digital and vinyl. Yeah.
Okay. So that project, was that something that you had set off to do prior to, and you went in that direction on purpose, or was things just starting to fall in your lap?
Yeah, things were starting to fall into place. And this is like way after the fact. This is what, 2000, this is, golly, I've been out here a minute, y'all. Like 10 years later, you know, I done went through some things, divorce, you name it, like having to find my footing again and all of this. Right. And when Twist happened because I had did a record with Outer Reach Productions called Over It. And from Over It, I was like, okay, I'm ready to drop a project. But when I drop it, I think I had just read an article about how vinyl is making a comeback. And how, you know, people are really starting to support vinyl again. And I was like, you know what I'm gonna go ahead and put Twist the Pen, Open the Lock on vinyl. But before then, I was like, you know what, I'll just release it on Bandcamp and all of the digital outlets, and that's that. But I do want to put it on vinyl. I'm not gonna do CDs because I don't see people really buying CDs like that. Like when I would do shows, I would have a couple of tracks on CD. Not like whole projects, but you know, if I'm at a show, I want to have something. So I would like burn off CDs in the house. I didn't have like a fancy label or nothing. It would just be a white label on a CD. And I have a Sharpie, like, you want me to sign it? Like, when you're doing stuff independently, you just do what you got to do. Right. So, you know, people were like, oh, that's dope. It's just a plain white label and I could sign it. So it was more personal. Absolutely. You know. So, because I was like, I don't have the funds to go all out, but I'm doing what I got to do, and it worked, and it worked. I mean, you know, so if any indie artists out there listening, don't don't do it because you feel like I ain't got it. Do what you can. Just do what you can. Just
That's right.
It may not be perfect. It's not gonna be like it's already released from a major label.
Right.
Do what you can, you know. Trust me,
Yes.
people are gonna appreciate it and they're gonna support it. They don't care. They care, but they know you up and coming. So they like, yo, you at least doing it. At least you got something in your hand. You got something online that they could see and put their hands on. So yeah. And the vinyl, like I said, I released the vinyl. It wasn't the prettiest, it wasn't the greatest, but people love the fact that there was vinyl. They were like, yo, I had like people in the first week, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, people are really buying this up. And vinyl's not cheap. It is not cheap. I think mine were going for like 25 a record or something.
Yeah.
They're like 10 people bought that. I said, you are kidding me. Really? Like
Them is supporters, girl.
They
Them
were
is real supporters.
yeah. And they love the fact that it was on vinyl. Like what? Like so yeah. And then, you know, like I said, it was like I wanted to stay in that flow because I just read an article that vinyl's making a comeback, put it on there and keep it moving. So
yes,
re-released the cover, you know, this is a whole learning process. And so I'm gonna re-release it. And shouts out to the people that did my cover. And their name escapes me right now. Amazing. But when I do release it and put it out on my IG, they will be tagged. So if somebody wants to, you know, link with them. But yeah, that was a whole process. But I'm glad I decided to do the whole vinyl route.
I'm glad you are too. That's how I met you.
That's
I think you were one of the first people.
Okay. I was in a hurry. I was like, oh, I got to get this right now. It's just off the strength of exactly what you said was Busy B was judging that one time.
Yep.
I felt exactly the same way, you know. Maybe I'm old school at that point as well, you know, and judgmental on where I came from and what I feel what hip hop actually is, and prefer to listen to that instead of keep crossing over into this new, you know, new versions of what people think hip hop is, taken into their own hands. And when I heard what you were doing, I had to have it. Now I am a vinyl collector, and you know, I'm definitely like happy that I purchased it, and it led to the next thing. And, you know,
and now we got a record on vinyl. Come on now.
Yes.
I love it.
That's hip hop though. That's hip hop, you know. And what you said earlier, I know Blue, you got something, but what you said earlier was important to me. And what I think the audience needs to hear is that that's part of what hip hop is the process.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yes.
If you listen to the OGs, you know, anybody from the beginning of time that got signed as a hip hop artist, you're gonna hear the complaints. You're gonna hear what actually happened. A lot of them will tell you do it yourself. The process is hip hop. When you put something out on a mixtape, 1977, when the blackout occurred in New York, people were looting and taking equipment, and all these DJs popped up. People were making mixtapes by the truckload, and that's what hip hop is. That's a mixtape, and they were writing their name on that tape. You know what I'm saying? It was a blank tape.
Wow.
That's the process. That's hip hop. That's how we started. That's who we are. What you did is a little different because of the time we're in, by going through another party that does it for you.
Right.
But you did the process, and I'm proud of you for even doing that, because a lot of people will be afraid to walk that line or cross over. You know what I'm saying? It's not about the lo-fi, the hi-fi. It's not about who mixed and mastered your album. It's the fact that you did it. I have a whole history of me doing everything myself. And a lot of people said, I even gave it to a guy to do the mastering for me after I mixed it. And he said, there's nothing I can do to it. It's already
did it.
And I don't have any schooling. I don't have any background. It's because it's part of the process and it matters. If that's who you are as an artist, everybody out there, make sure you understand that. Do it yourself. That's hip hop.
I say. And you know, right. I was gonna say that's a big component of the process in hip hop, is really the education and the learning that is behind exploring like how to get your craft to other people. right? It was a whole process of learning and then exploring how over time society moves in a certain way, but then how you authentically keep your sound and you keep, you know, keep your creative rights and ownership over your craft, right? And not just outsourcing it all. So I was gonna ask you, Key, in turning from the old school ways of navigating the arts, right? And how there's this new media forum that really requires it's very demanding, right? And it's demanding in so much that like you have to hire someone to help you with your marketing and your strategizing. But like what's been like the biggest learning curve for you in this transition of like analog to digital?
That's a good question. The biggest learning thing is really on how to get on getting your coins for what you put out, really. You know, a lot of it is crazy. So many people put out music on all of that, because anybody could put out music on a digital outlet now. If you go to Symphonic Distribution, CD Baby, DistroKid, you name it, TuneCore, all of that. But they put their music out and they don't necessarily know those 3 and 4 steps to make sure that they're getting all of their money from their streaming and this, that, and the third. That was a big learning thing for me, because it's like, okay, transitioning over to all these DSPs and all of that. But then how do I get any money for that? If I'm performing somewhere and I'm with a performing rights organization, how do I get paid for that? How is that ticked on my board? How is that going to be accounted to me? That was the learning thing for me, and I had to learn. And it goes back to networking. If it had not been for networking with the right people who are not hoarding that type of information, you know, I wouldn't know. I just be putting music out there and not really knowing, you know, where does the money come from? How does it drop into my account when it streams it? When I do this, how does that work? You know, and shouts out to Fresh and Local, because that's an arts guild that I'm a part of out here and have been for like, you know, quite a long time. And we're just a bunch of artists that support each other, you know. But shouts out to the homie Jay Nolan. He actually has a audio book out called Pin Game that teaches people like how to get your coins. You know, as an independent artist, you're releasing this, you need to know where's the money going to come from. How am I gonna get my credit for putting this stuff out there? And that was the biggest learning thing for me, you know, because when you're back in the day, you know, you have your CDs in hand, you get the money, it's, you know, you get the cash, you get okay. But now you
done pay for how many CDs you pressing up. You done put a price tag on it. You done put a label on it. Like you said, that white label, that personal label. Hello, somebody. You didn't put digital, you know, graphics and all that fun stuff, because you know, just trying to get the music out there.
Just trying to get it out there. Yeah. So you have it in your hand, it's tangible, but digital is digital. So how does that work? You know what I'm saying? And that was the biggest thing for me, you know. And I'm not talking about, you know, Bandcamp where you can go and you see the money right away. I'm talking about from the iTunes, from the Spotify, from performing at a venue, and you're with BMI. How do I register with BMI to get paid for the song that I performed in this place that's supposed to pay me? Like, it's a whole, so, you know, like I had to learn.
It's a new world. We have stepped into a new world of the monetization of the art, as well as how it's done. And so we are the generation that's experiencing that for the first time. And I don't know if you want to call yourself old school, but for me, it's definitely like, it's a big hiccup. I don't want to be a part of that, because if you don't have a crew of people doing it for you, then you have to take time out of being an artist to go find out where's my money.
That part too. And I'm telling you, it could be draining, you know. It does take time from your creativity to handle the back end. But the back end is so important, because how else do you know, you have to handle the back end, and it takes a village, man. And I'm, you know, thank God I'm developing my team is pretty much almost done as far as that part is concerned, you know, making sure stuff is registered and all that. So I can have time on just focusing on being an artist. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to manage myself and it's just mind blowing. And then you're working a regular 9 to 5 still to help fund everything. So that's a whole other ball game. That's a whole other, you know what I'm saying, can of worms. It's crazy because, and that's another thing too, and I'm probably going off to the left here, but I feel like it's so important to say, independent artists, keep your day job until them checks are paying the rent all by themselves. And that's a process too. And trust me, I've heard this from some of the most legendary people in the game. Listen, keep your day job. Yeah. Keep your daggone day job. I have heard so many stories of artists who think, oh, I'm not going to be taken seriously if I work a regular job and still do my music. I'm either going to be an artist or I'm going to work. Nah, baby, do both. Unless you're pulling in that money to pay for your rent and all of that. Because look, half of y'all out here grown as crap. You're lying about your age. You know you is too old to be sleeping in your car. You're too old to be. Come on, you better work a day job. You better Lyft, Uber, and all of that until it's
whatever you got to do.
Okay,
you can do all that when you're 12 years old because you still live with your mom. You know what I'm saying?
It's real. I thank God for my day job, and every day I pray, oh Lord, I can't wait for the moment where I could just be like, oh, I'm out of here. But the reality is, and I'm not ashamed to say, no, I'm not making that much money to be quitting my day job yet. Heck no, this a process, you know. And my day job is helping me fund what I have to do, you know.
Right. If you don't mind me asking, what profession are you in your day job life?
I'm right now I'm an upcoster. I help.
That sounds fancy.
It's not.
Upcoster.
Upcoster. Yeah, I had to look it up. Like, what is this? Basically, it's administrative type work. I basically have to make sure that a fleet of maintenance people have enough money to do what they got to do to repair what they need to repair for the day. So
period.
Yeah, that's basically all I do. I make sure they got money to get the job done for the day. That's what I do right now.
Period.
Of course. And COVID, you know, I was laid off from my other job from COVID for a long time, and it was a blessing. It was a silver lining because it did give me a lot of time to just create. So I did appreciate that time that I had off because of COVID. I got laid off from a job that I was at for like 9 years. And during that time, all I had to worry about was creating. Nobody was hiring. Those unemployment benefits was cranking now. I was like, shoot, if they keep this going, I don't know about going back to a regular job. They keep this check coming every week. I mean, to be honest, you know, and that gave me a lot of time to create. So in that space of time is when, you know, I was able to get on the Redman playlist. And there's some things in the works with that. You know, the project with Nottz was dropping, so just things started to happen. So COVID for me was, you know, like I said, it was a silver lining in a lot of ways, you know. But now reality sets in, it's back to work. And now the grind is even harder. So I get off of work, and what I'm doing, I'm in here recording, you know, mic right here. You know, that's the other thing, investing in yourself. I got my own recording equipment. I do it at home. To cut the cost in half because recording is not cheap. You know, there's just so many things as an independent artist. It's way tougher, right. I think, in my opinion.
How can people get in touch with you, Key Turner, find out what's coming up next?
Follow me on Instagram. That's how you'll know for sure. It's I am KETURNER. All updates on my Instagram. I suck at Twitter. Anytime I go up there, it's just to peek my head in and peek out. Like, I don't know what it is. Goes back to, you know, us having to manage everything. I can't do all of social media, okay?
Yeah,
Twitter,
man.
My Twitter is dry as a Sahara. I probably got 400 people up there. I am not active on there at all. And when I go up there, I see people tagging, and even with the record with Rapsody and Rah Digga, and I'm just like, oh, they're probably gonna look at my page and be like, well, who the heck is she?
Well, why she
on Twitter?
Right.
I don't mess with Twitter. I don't. But if y'all want to follow me up there, it's Key Turner Music, but I ain't up there, okay? But Instagram is where I'm at. And also Facebook. I am active on Facebook, and you can find me under Key Turner on Facebook, KETURNER.
All right, so we definitely want to have you back real soon, because you have so many things piled up on your plate right now that in a matter of a couple of weeks, you probably got a lot to say. So we're going to do a part 2 with you, if that's all right, and find out what you up to, you know, when a little bit of time goes by. But we definitely thank you so much for being on the show today.
Yes.
And we love what you're doing. Keep doing it. Everything is fire. You deserve it.
Thank you so much for being a dope female MC. And really, you know, making it clear, like, we here as female MCs, and we gonna be heard and respected in our art and in our craft and what we have to contribute.
Exactly. Thank you so much. And listen, y'all, go get love. Help us, okay?
Let's
not forget that. Listen, I love collabing. I do. And this has to be one of the smoothest, dopest collabs that I've done. And I love it. So thank y'all for putting me on the record always. Y'all got to go get that. It's a beautiful record. And everyone that I've played it for that has heard it, they love it. And it's needed right now. It's right where it needs to be in this time. So yeah.
We just wait till we get a chance to perform that live for the first time. That's always something when you put out vinyl and you got that B-side with the instrumental. A lot of people can't do. So we gotta look for that in the future, you know?
Oh, absolutely. If I gotta come out there to rock.
Oh, we'll let you know when we get something big. When we get something big, we'll have you come out and we'll have you perform, you know, do your thing as well as get you in on what we're doing. Yep. Yeah. Because we got the tacticians. We building up the tacticians as well.
For the
people that need to see it, that's our brother Scribe Sayer on the cover image of the video. Go check it out. You can also follow us at www.theblock, for the Queens and K for the Kings.com. You feel me.com. And we doing big major things out here, and where would I be without my community? That would be amazing. So you need your unity like this, like a fist tight, baby. You throw it up. You feel me?
You just heard it live and direct from Key Turner herself, folks, all the way back to her childhood days and what she's doing now. So stay tuned for part 2. Thank you so much, Key Turner, for joining us today.
Thank y'all. I love y'all. Thank you.
Love you.
One love. Have a great rest of the day.
I can't really shine with you if I'm just only half. It's hard to believe when you halfway see it, but you claim that it's real. What you say